You have been told attraction is something that either happens or it doesn't. That is one of the most expensive lies in human psychology. How do you make a woman feel drawn to you, genuinely, deeply drawn, even when she seems completely uninterested at first? Most men assume the answer lives in the words. If they just say something clever enough, interesting enough, confident enough, she will suddenly feel it. But that is not how this works. That is not how any of this works. And the gap between what most men believe about attraction and what is actually happening inside a woman's mind, that gap is exactly where years of potential connection quietly disappear. This was never your fault. Nobody told you this. The things most men were taught about women and attraction, they were incomplete, deeply, fundamentally incomplete. You have been operating with half the map, in the dark, wondering why the destination keeps moving. Stay until the fifth point in this video. That one alone will change the way you walk into every room for the rest of your life. If you want to understand what most men never will, tap like right now, because this channel exists for one reason and one reason only, to show you the deeper truth behind how attraction and real connection actually work. Research in social neuroscience has been pointing to the same finding for decades, and the mainstream has almost entirely ignored it. Dr. Helen Fisher, the biological anthropologist at Rutgers University, who has spent her career studying human attraction across cultures, found that what women respond to most powerfully is not surface behavior. It is nervous system safety. It is the feeling, wordless, automatic, and instant, that the man in front of her is grounded, steady, not performing, not chasing, not constructing, just genuinely present. Most men spend their entire lives wondering why nothing clicks. They have good conversations that go nowhere. They show up as themselves, or what they think is themselves, and still she pulls back. They wonder what they are missing. The answer is always the same. They are working on the wrong level entirely. They are focused on impressing when they should be focused on resonating. And the men who finally understand what is actually happening beneath the surface, those are the men who become unforgettable. Not because they do more, because they finally stop doing the things that were quietly working against them. This is not a trick. This is not a manipulation game. This is real human psychology. And once you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. The first thing to understand is what you might call the stillness signal. Most men, when they feel uncertain around a woman they are attracted to, do more. They talk more. They move more. They fill every silence with energy and words and humor and questions, because somewhere deep in the nervous system, silence feels like failure. It feels like she is losing interest. It feels like something is going wrong. So they rush to fix it. But here is what is actually happening when you do that. Dr. Albert Mehrabian's research on nonverbal communication showed us that the overwhelming majority of emotional impression, the kind that shapes how someone feels about you, is formed not by what you say, but by how you carry yourself. The energy underneath the words, the stillness or the restlessness in your body, the pressure or the ease in your presence. And when a man is filling every silence with more noise, more movement, more performance, her nervous system reads it clearly. It reads anxiety. And anxiety is the single most powerful signal that shuts down genuine attraction before it even has a chance to form. The stillness signal is the opposite. It is being comfortable in the pause. It is letting the silence exist between you without rushing to fill it. It is the quiet confidence of a man who does not need to perform his way through a conversation, because he already knows he belongs in it. Imagine this. You are at a gathering with people you have just met. You are talking with a woman. She pauses mid-thought. Most men lean in, talk over it, offer something witty, but you simply hold the space. You look at her with calm attention. You let the moment breathe. And she looks back at you, and something changes in her expression, something subtle, something real, not because of anything you said, because you showed her, without a single word, that you are not afraid of stillness. And her nervous system translates that instantly. Safe, grounded, present. This communicates something she cannot name but absolutely feels. It says, I am not performing for you. I am not trying to become what you want. I am simply here. And that is more magnetic than any sentence that has ever been spoken. The second quality is what can be called the curiosity lean. Most men approach a woman they are drawn to with an unconscious goal: impress her. They talk about what they have accomplished, where they have been, what they know, and while they are talking, she is registering something beneath the conversation. This man is interested in how he appears to me, not in who I actually am. Women have a remarkably accurate sense for this distinction. It is not something she consciously analyzes and judges. It is something she feels in her body within the first few minutes. The curiosity lean is simply the act of being genuinely more interested in understanding her than in being understood by her. Psychologists call this principle curious engagement, and research on interpersonal connection consistently shows it activates a neurological reward response in the brain when a person feels truly, specifically seen. Think about it. How rare is it for someone to ask you a real question? Not a polite one, not a socially expected one, but a question that shows they actually want to know the answer. How does it feel when that happens? That is what you become when you practice this. Imagine this. You are in conversation with a woman at dinner. Instead of steering the discussion toward what makes you interesting, you ask her something genuine. You go one level deeper than the surface. And when she answers, you do not reach for your own story. You stay with hers. You ask more. Not because you are following a script, but because you are actually curious about this person in front of you. She notices. Not because of what you said, because of what you did not do. And this is about understanding and respect, not control, not technique. It works precisely because it is real. A woman can sense the difference between a man who is listening to respond and a man who is listening to understand. The man who listens to understand becomes the one she wants to keep talking to, the one she thinks about on the drive home. The third quality is the name anchor. Research in social psychology has consistently shown that hearing one's own name activates a specific neural recognition response, a kind of signal that wires through the brain and communicates, "You are not just anyone in this conversation. You are you, specifically." Most conversations are anonymous in the emotional sense. People talk at each other without ever truly acknowledging the individual human being in front of them. But when you use her name, not constantly, not as a technique, but at a real moment, it lands differently than anything else in the interaction. It cuts through the noise and says, "I see you." Not the role, not the small talk, you. A word of caution here. Timing and authenticity matter completely. This only works when it emerges naturally from genuine attention. Use it mechanically, use it too often, and she will sense it immediately. The name anchor is not something you do. It is something that happens when you are actually fully paying attention. None of this works without genuine care for the person in front of you, and when that care is real, using her name is not a move, it is a gift. If this is resonating with you, subscribe and hit the bell right now. Every video on this channel reveals something she has been communicating that most men never hear. And what comes after this goes even deeper. Now, here is where most people in this space go completely quiet. The fourth quality is what deserves the name re-entry grace. Most men, when an interaction does not go the way they hoped, when she goes quiet, when she seems pulled back, when there is tension or distance, they respond in one of two ways. They disappear, become cold, match her withdrawal with their own. Or they overcorrect, become too available, too eager to repair it. Both responses communicate the same thing. His emotional state is managed by her reactions. And women feel this. They always feel this. Re-entry, grace, is something different. It is the ability to return after distance, after a difficult moment, after silence, after something went sideways, without needing her to explain it, without punishing her for it, without carrying it on your face. You simply return, warm, steady, as if you are not reduced by what happened between you. Dr. John Gottman, whose research at the University of Washington studied thousands of couples across decades, found that one of the most powerful predictors of lasting emotional connection is what he called repair attempts, small, genuine gestures of re-engagement after tension or distance. It is not the grand gesture that builds real trust. It is the quiet willingness to come back again and again without keeping score. Imagine this. She was short with you last week, her world was heavy, and you happened to be nearby. Most men either disappeared or made it about themselves. But you come back the next time with the same warmth you always carry. No resentment tracking in your eyes, no subtle score being settled. She notices. And what her nervous system registers in that moment is not just kindness, it is safety. The kind of safety that makes a woman want to stay. And now the one that changes everything. The fifth quality, the one I told you to wait for, is the presence pause. To understand why this is so powerful, you need to understand something about how the female brain actually processes connection. Neuroscientist Dr. Luann Brizendine, in her groundbreaking research on female neurological wiring, described what she called the extraordinary capacity of the female brain to read emotional signals, micro-expressions, shifts in tone, the invisible changes in a person's energy and attention. Women are not doing this deliberately. It is hardwired. Millions of years of evolutionary pressure have calibrated the female nervous system to be a remarkably sensitive detector of emotional authenticity. She is not primarily processing your words. She is processing what is underneath them. Is this man actually here with me right now? Or is he somewhere else in his head? Is he comfortable in his own skin? Or is he managing something, bracing against something, constructing something? The presence pause is not a technique, it is a state. It is the quality of being fully inside this moment, with her, without watching yourself do it, not calculating the next thing to say, not monitoring her expressions for signals of approval, not building the version of yourself you want her to see, just here, just this, nothing between you and the moment. A woman in her mid-50s once shared something with me at a dinner gathering. We were at a long table, conversation flowing, many voices. She leaned over mid-meal and said something I never forgot. She told me there was one man in her life who, every time she was with him, made her feel like the only person in the room. Not because of anything he did, because of something he stopped doing. He stopped performing. She paused for a moment, and then she said, "That is the most quietly attractive quality I have ever encountered in a man." That is the presence pause. It is not about saying less or saying more. It is about the quality of your attention. When your attention is full, when it is genuinely, completely, unhurriedly on her, she feels it the way sunlight feels on skin. She cannot look away from it. She cannot explain it, but she seeks it again. Think about it. When was the last time someone gave you their complete, undivided, unrushed attention? How rare was that? How much did you want to return to that person? That is exactly what this creates. And here is what makes it even more significant. Most men believe presence is something you either have or do not have, but presence is built. It is practiced. It is a choice you make every time you sit across from someone who matters. If your intention is not honest, none of this will work. Women sense everything. The same way they sense authenticity, they sense its absence. The presence pause works because it cannot be faked. And when it is real, it is truly irreplaceable. The sixth quality is the honest reveal. There is a moment in every developing connection, sometimes subtle, sometimes unmistakable, when a man either moves toward vulnerability or moves away from it. Most men move away, not because they are weak, but because no one ever showed them what real vulnerability looks like in a man. Not drama, not oversharing, not emotional collapse, something far quieter. The specific, grounded courage to let someone see one true thing about you, something real, something unpolished, something you did not prepare. Dr. Brené Brown's research at the University of Houston found that vulnerability is the birthplace of genuine intimacy, not performance, not certainty. The willingness to be seen as a human being, not as a curated image of one. Imagine this. The conversation has been moving well, and instead of keeping it on the surface, you say something honest. Something like, "I have been thinking about this for a long time, and I am still not sure how I feel about it." Or, "That question actually touched something I have not thought about in years." Not dramatic, not rehearsed, just true. She pauses. She looks at you differently. Because in a world full of men projecting confidence and certainty, you showed her something real. And real is the rarest thing there is. Most men will never do this. The armor is too heavy, too familiar, too much a part of who they have trained themselves to be. But you are already here. You are already doing something most men will not do. And the man who is willing to be seen, truly, honestly seen, is the man she cannot stop thinking about long after the conversation has ended. Everything we covered today points to one truth. Attraction is not a performance. It is a resonance. It is two nervous systems recognizing something in each other. And what she is always quietly searching for, beneath every glance, every conversation, every moment of silence, is the answer to one question she will never ask out loud. Is this man real? Not perfect, not powerful in the theatrical sense. Real, grounded, present, aware, capable of being honest. The men who understand this do not chase connection, they create the conditions for it. And connection, once it grows in those conditions, is not something she walks away from easily. Most men will never understand what you now understand. But you are here. You came looking for something deeper than surface advice, and that already makes you different from the crowd. If this connected with something in you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every video here goes one level deeper than the last. And comment the word "seen" below right now, because being truly seen is the thing every person alive is searching for. And now you know how to offer it. What comes next will show you something even more powerful. The hidden moment in every conversation when she decides whether you are someone she wants to know more deeply. You do not want to miss that one.